Well, hello. Welcome to another edition of Talking About Speedway. Graeme Sinden and Con Migro with you. Con, we're coming to you after the Maddington Toyota Sprintcar Series round, our first regional round down at Attwell Park in Albany.
Yes, it is, Graeme, and also this is a very historic week as far as Speedway is concerned. This is the 25th year to this week that the Perth Motorplex had its first race meeting at the Kwinana Beach location. And it's been a wonderful thing. Little did we know, or did we ever think, that we'd get to the way it is at the moment. And with my son Gavin now running the show, we've seen some wonderful events, and we're coming into probably one of the most important periods of the Speedway season with the Boxing Day and then the High Limit Series straight after it.
Con, just talking about that, when you think 25 years of racing at the Perth Motorplex, been a lot of good quality racing, but probably it would be fair to say none quite as good as what's currently happening in the last 2 or 3 years.
Well, the things that we dreamt of once, that as I said, you probably heard me say this numerous occasions, if we had 18 sprint cars at a race meeting, we'd throw a garden party. Well, today we have an average 32 to 35 cars, and during the High Limit Series, the number will go well over 40, close to 50. And it's exactly what we knew we were doing when we built the track with the banking on it. We knew that this would happen. Built it, they'll come. But I'll tell you what, there were 20 years of really tough slugging to get it to where it is. And so I tip the competitors, I tip the fans and the management for what is happening now. And let's hope it continues to go that way.
Well, goodness me, Con, if racing is half as good as what it has been and we're leading into that High Limit Series, goodness me, I just can't wait.
Yes, it's going to be beautiful. But getting back to Albany, yes, it was a wonderful show down there. Great racing, good fields, a good crowd, and we saw Caden Manners win back-to-back from Ryan Farrell, who jumped into the open class, which was good. And as we've been saying for weeks that Jason Kendrick was about to become on the podium, well, he's done it sooner than later, and that's very good. So there was our first 3 place getters down in Albany.
Well, there on the screen, Con, Manders wins again, second win back-to-back. The first win, of course, last meeting at the Perth Motorplex for the WA State Championship. What a race that was for him, and this one equally as good, just beating Ryan Farrell over the line by the narrowest of margins. Quality race.
Yes, and I believe that the dogfight between he and Ryan Farrell was pretty special, and it's the thing that makes fans want to keep on coming back to see more. And it's good to see Caden going like that. He's recently won the West Australian Speed Car title. He's won the Sprint Cars, and now he's won 2 in a row. And Dan Golding, the car owner, would have to be more than pleased.
Yes. Well, there on the screen, Con, the podium for the Albany feature race. Caden Manders proudly standing in the middle. Ryan Farrell and Jason Kendrick. How good is it to see Jason on the podium at last?
Well, it's a good 2 lean years that he's been going through. I was over at their workshop late last week, and I saw Jeff rebuilding the motor, and he was tearing his hair out, but looks like he's going to stop tearing it out now because the young man's back up on the top again, and I think we can look forward to some fabulous racing from him for the rest of the season.
Well, let's have a look at this now. Caden Manners produced a quick time of the night, 13.495. You can see a little bit of dust even on the qualifying, so... it was a dusty night apparently for the feature race, but apart from that, I'm told by several that it was a great event.
Yes, Gavin was down there. I didn't, unfortunately, go due to my other commitments, but Gavin was saying to me that it was a very good show. The racing was superb. And, of course, the Albany Speedway is one of the nicest speedways in the country. And I think their catering is second to none, so I think that's also a bit of an attraction, especially people that like Tucker.
Absolutely. Well, there again, there's Caden's time. And if I just turn that, let me just do this and we'll have a look. Jake Robinson, how good was that? The young fellow, rookie season, 13.692, and Ryan Farrell, 13.889. So quite close times there.
Yeah, well, young Jake's got a brilliant car. He's a very well-equipped driver, and he's learning a lot in the speed cars. He's got his grandfather, Murray, and his dad helping him, and so they are really a very combined family, and the young fellow would have to be really happy with his result from Albany. The smaller track probably helped him because the big open space of the Bunburys and the Perth Motorplex tip those guys out a little bit, but the smaller, slower track probably helped them to get on the pace pretty quick.
But Con, I'm convinced that going to these smaller tracks will be good for all West Australian drivers as they make their journeys across to the East Coast later in the year and so on. Sometimes we're found a little bit wanting when we go east, but I'm sure the car setting up and racing on different tracks will be good for our drivers overall.
Well, it's, whether that's true or false, I wouldn't say, but I do say that going on to smaller or different types of tracks and different services certainly helps a driver to hone his skills. And of course, now we've got Albany, we've got Geraldton on the way, and Kalgoorlie. Kalgoorlie's the biggest of those three. And then you throw in Bunbury to the mix, and our drivers this year are going to have a huge amount of experience driving on very circuits, different conditions from the very, very hot of, say, the Gold Rush country down to the cool evenings of Bunbury. So it's going to be pretty good.
And a newly resurfaced Bunbury at that con.
Yes, I was just hoping that everything works out for Brad and Jason, because they've put a huge effort in, and everyone's really depending on Brad to come up with the goods.
Yes, indeed. Well, look at this again. We've been saying how good is this, how good is that. Cody Claydon, I should say, rookie year, and he won the heat one down there at Albany. That's brilliant, isn't it? Jason Kendrick carrying on his good form, heat 2. And Callum Williamson up there in Heat 3.
Yeah, well, young Cody's only about 19 or 20. He hails from the Middle Swan, part of West Australia, and his father, Darryl, was a former Australian wingless champion, and he knows what it's all about, setting up a car. Money's not the problem, and it's just this young guy, the more laps he gets under his belt, the better he's going to come. And there's Ryan Farrell, of course, the man who set everyone up watching again. He apparently on the PA said, he's a little bit out of condition, but I don't really believe that he means that. I think he's just proved, I've been saying this for months, in the class he's been racing, he's been winning, not winning convincing, but he's been winning. All he had to do was win. And on Saturday night, he took it right up to the big guns of our sport here. And when you look at it, the only one he didn't beat was Caden Vanders. So he's done a pretty good job, hasn't he?
Absolutely. Well, he's been a brilliant sprint car racer over the years, hasn't he? I guess that skill level doesn't diminish, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's just the desire and the what you want to do, and there's no reason why he couldn't for another 5 or 6 years go back into the open class and be as dominant as what he was once before.
There's our B Dash winner, Jason Kendrick. He won a heat and then he won the B Dash, so great news, and finished on the podium in the feature race. Good stuff, isn't it?
It's good to see. As I said, it's I feel particularly pleased for him and for his father, Jeff, that they put a huge amount into their sprint car racing, like a lot of other people too. But their say, fall from grace was pretty dramatic, and now they're on their way back up.
And this young fellow as well, he's not a rookie. He's been around for a few years, but fairly low budget racer. But boy, he's quick when he's on form, isn't he?
Well, he's just out of his rookie years. He's only a very young man, got a very low budget, hell of a racer, and a really nice young man. And we certainly hope that he can continue. He's a very consistent driver, very sensible driver, doesn't do anything really stupid. So he drives to survive, and good on him.
He hasn't had it all his own way this season, is he? No. So to stick at it and keep going, as you say, the smaller Albany Attwell Park track may have helped him a little bit. But when you get drivers that all of a sudden have a win here or do well in their qualifying times, it does amazing things for their confidence, doesn't it?
Well, they can dine out that for the next 6 months.
It's so refreshing, though, to see these guys up on the podiums and heat races and so on, Con. And here's a picture of the four-wide salute to the fans on the feature race. They limited the cars to 20 for the smaller track, but apparently a reasonably good crowd. As you say, I wasn't there either, unfortunately. I had a family weekend with all the grandchildren down, but what a good event for Albany, and it must bring a lot of money into the town, Con.
Oh, absolutely. On the Friday night, they said the pubs and restaurants were booming, so there's a lot of people who went down and watched it from Perth. Gavin was saying to me, he said, half the people there reckon they were from Perth because everybody who walked in was from Perth. But it was a great night, and Kevin Thayer and all that team down there have got a beautiful venue. It's one of the nicest little venues you'll find anywhere in the world, not just in Australia. And we just wish them all the best, and certainly hope that the town continues to get right behind it, because without the support of the town, and particularly country areas, these things just don't happen.
No, Tom. Con, we'll go to a quick break and we'll be back right after this with more Speedway. Don't go away.
At Maddington Toyota, we're all about great deals, value, quality and service. Head to our website for quality new, demo and pre-owned vehicles with videos so you can find your perfect car. We can organise the details by phone and email and deliver the car right to you. Check out the entire Toyota range, plus a huge selection of pre-owned vehicles, all backed by our real commitment to great service. Maddington Toyota, great deals and great service. Oh, what a feeling.
Oh, what a feeling indeed, Con. Maddington Toyota Sprintcar Series round down at Attwell Park. What a great thing for regional Australia, Western Australia in particular, to take sprint cars to country people.
Yeah, and look, on the front of that Priolo car, the photo is coming up on screen soon as Gold Star Transport. And I must feel that it must have been very disappointing and heartbreaking for Rock Ziefos, who blew a motor at the Motorplex only the week before. They just didn't have time to get the motor back, so he had to sit there and watch it as a spectator, and he must have been itching to get out onto the racetrack. But the guys that were on the racetrack certainly put on a fabulous show, and we've got some great action, as you see the American Whittle deciding to join the Upside Down Club of Australia.
Ah, dear, oh dear, and that put him behind the 8 ball a bit as well, didn't it? Andrew Priolo involved there. Unfortunate accident, but these things happen at the highest level, so... But he was able to get into the feature race as a reserve, as it turns out. So he did well. In fact, I think he went from 19th to 6th or something or other. So,
so he did a good job.
What a race for him.
And, you know, it just shows you that an ounce of luck is worth a fortune. Like, he was upside down there, got the job as first reserve, and there was a crash at the start of the A main, and that allowed him to get into the field. So the field started with 20 cars, and that was good for the fans.
And what about this guy? I'm talking about Ryan Bomber Lancaster, upside down again, and it was out for the night. Boy, has he had a runabout.
Yeah, well, I just can't believe the luck that's going his way, and I just only wish that a bit of luck could turn for him. Unfortunately, we lost Dane Kingshot in that crash, only momentarily, because he was back in the field, as we know later. But Bomber Lancaster, we didn't see him again for the rest of the night. The car was pretty badly hurt, and he must be pondering about what has he done to create this bad luck that goes his way. There is a saying, I can't say it on air, that happens, and someone's buried in his backyard. But he's a fine racer. He knows what the sport's all about, and I know he's just going to dig in, and eventually he's going to get on top of it. I just don't think he's going to let it go without at least giving it a good crack.
Well, I think out of 5 meetings, Con, he's not necessarily torn the car right up, but damaged the car out of 4 out of 5 meetings. That's sad for a guy of his calibre, isn't it?
It is.
Apparently, Dane half spun and he had nowhere to go. They collided. Dane flipped up on his roof. But if I go to the next slide, Con, this is really heartening to see, isn't it? There's about 5 or 6 teams there helping Dane to get back out onto the track.
Yes. I see Carl Williamson amongst them, and there's the Whittle team. There is also the 71 team of Caden Manners. They're all in there trying to get the car on the racetrack. And that's what I love about Speedway. They might hate each other when they're on the racetrack together, but as soon as something like this happens, there they are again. They all jump in and try to get their arch rival back on the racetrack. And I bet you Dane's very grateful for it, because he was able to salvage something once again, which he's very good at. He's very good. He's a very calm person. He salvaged something out of something that looked like was going to end up in tears.
Yes. Well, in fact, he as you say, he's good at that, isn't it? He went from the back of the field up to about 8th position, Con, so that kept his points alive, and that's what quality drivers are made of, isn't it? Don't let those things get you down. Just get your head wrapped around the job again and get on with it, and that's exactly what he did.
Correct.
But when you look at that slide, Con, you just have to admire other teams, fierce competitors, but they want him out there as much as Dane wanted to be out there.
Yep, absolutely.
So Speedway's alive and well, Con, when you see that at this level. I mean, we're talking millions of dollars here, aren't we? And then you're talking about Maddington Toyota, long game points score, and these guys are desperate to keep scoring points to keep up the top of that competition. So, you know, it's a tough old thing. So, Con, let's go and have a look. Talking about the Maddington Toyota Series points now, let's go and have a look at that. As you can see, Dane Kingshot, by virtue of getting that car back into the field, he still remains on top, only at exactly the same points as Callum, but due to the fact of his feature race wins over Callum's, he remains on top at 870. A terrific competition, and it's really starting to unfold, even though it's still early in the season.
Yeah, well, Brad Mayle has jumped up to third place now. Daniel Harding's now moved up again. Taylor's dropped back down the bus. And the big mover there in the sixth position is Caden Manders, the man from Port Kennedy. He's jumped up and he is going to be threatening very, very quickly. Jason Kendick's got there. Chris Coyle's dropped down the line. Jack Williamson's come in and Jason Pride stays in the top 10. So that's a really good competition. Wow.
And you've been keeping an eye on the top 10, the difference between first and the 10th, and it's been between 80 and 100 odd. All season long so far, and it's still only minus 102 down to Jason Pride. So, as you say, it's a healthy competition, and places are going up and down. Daniel Harding didn't have a very good night, and Taylor Milling didn't, of course. So, but they're still in there, aren't they? That's great.
And we, the spectators, are the ones that are being rewarded more than the drivers, because I know the drivers are working like hell just to stay in the field. But we get the reward of seeing some fabulous racing. And you've got the next 10, Graham, that you've listed, and there's some pretty fine names amongst that group.
Well, look at Cody Clayton. He's just out of the top 10 in 11th position now. So it just shows you when you get a bit of confidence, you get a heat race win, and you're into it, aren't you?
And look at James Inglis is down in 15th place now. James Inglis, 2 seasons ago, he won the series. So that gives you an example of just how tough the competition is. So that's a wonderful. JD Dax, a young guy that's, he just needs a couple of breaks as well because he's in 14th position. But overall, it's a very interesting series, and as the old saying, if you snooze, you lose, and this is exactly how it transpires onto paper. You've got the big guns that rarely make mistakes, but if they do make them, they are able to overcome them very quickly.
Yes, indeed. Well, I don't think JD Dack went down to Bunbury, nor did James Inglis. Michael Keane certainly didn't. Craig Bottrell didn't, so you can see what that does to their point score.
Well, Craig Bottrell now, he drives for my brother. They have blown their open motor, and Greg was saying they're not out, but there'll be some time before they get back because their budget is too small to be able to stay in that field. And yet it was sad because Craig was showing some great...
He was driving well, wasn't he?
He was driving very well. Yeah. In fact, we even spoke to a couple of the top drivers the other week, and it was Dane Kingshot, and he was saying he was very impressed with those young men that moved up into that field, in a tough field that it is, and they have more than held their own.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, Con, this brings me on now to our next competition, which is the Boy and Upseller Sprint Car Driver of the Year in conjunction with the Spirit of Speedway, one of the radio shows that we do on SEN Radio 621. And if I just go to the next slide now, you can see what's happened here. Dane Kingshot remains on top, unchanged, as Callum Williamson is, 23. They were the same after 4 rounds. But look at Caden Manders now. He's jumped right up there to third position. What a great competition he's now putting in.
You're one of my favourite awards that we're putting up this year, and it's kept us very keenly watching the points at each race meeting. And although you think that Daniel Harding and Ryan Farrell are way out of it, but only a couple of wins, then that could, you've seen what's now. Manders is up in third spot, where 3 weeks ago he was nowhere. No. So here it is, just a couple of good performances, and you just start to get back on the top 5 of the series.
And again, well, we've got that slide up on the screen, Con. Assured Learning Australia, Boy and Upsellers and Kincrome, thank you for your participation, along with the Figlamini family, who are going to provide a lovely Michael Figlamini trophy for the Sprint Car Driver of the Year at the end of the season. So it's hotting up now, Con, to be a good competition. And after 5 rounds, you can see the points are starting to squeeze up at the top.
Yep, certainly are.
So up at Geraldton now, Con, from cold south of the state to
windy Geraldton.
The mid-state, Geraldton Speedway, they put on an event particularly for wingless sprints, and that man again, Con, how can you not count him in anything that's going?
Well, Matthew Owen, as I've been saying for a couple of seasons now, is probably one of the best young talents I've seen anywhere in my whole Speedway career, in any discipline of the sport of Speedway racing. He's a very good driver. Brendan Sharp's another good kid, and Robbie Clark, a former motorcycle racer, moved into this division a couple of years ago, and he's also been chipping away at it. But Matthew Iowa now, he's the man. He now conquered Geraldton Speedway, so he just keeps rolling on.
Well, Robbie Clark, son of Peter Clark, who used to be the president of Motorcycle WA, they bought a new car at the start of this season. They've been tinkering around with it, just trying to get the setup right, and it looks like they're going in the right direction. And as you say, young Robbie was a terrific motocrosser in his day, so it's nice to see other blokes getting up on that podium, isn't it?
Now, talking about the open cars a while ago down at Albany, when the open cars go to Geraldton, they'll find a similar service to what is down at Albany on a similar type of track. So Geraldton will be very good for them. They've had a chance to drive on a track similar size, and that we held them in good stead for when they get up there. And it's a 2-night show up there, so we're looking forward. That's in March.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. And Con, coming up, we keep on saying this, but it's important that we do the Perth Motorplex High Limit Series for 2025, 28th, 29th and 30th December. How good is that going to be?
It's going to be unbelievable. So good that we're going to move down there on Boxing Day night and stay there until after the series, because driving backwards and forwards doesn't really interest me a great deal, but and we'll probably do a little bit of partying.
Oh, undoubtedly, Con.
And mixing with the drivers. But it's a good atmosphere, and I believe that there's something close to 90 people that have taken advantage of being up there and being able to park in that series and in that area, so they'll be all part of the action all day, every day.
Absolutely. I just had some of the Americans and some of the high-profile Australians in that field, Con. James McFadden, Kerry Madsen, Luke Oldfield and Jock Goodyear. Amongst the 11-odd Americans, how good is that field? And we haven't even mentioned any of our top West Australians yet.
Well, there's 15 drivers. You add another 30 of the local guys, and you are getting close to 50 cars. And then you've got the Caden Manders, the Callum Williamsons, the Dane Kingshot. Now we see that the likes of Kendrick are going well now. And the big question is, will Ryan Farrell drive? I reckon he should. He's got the ability. Don't ever underestimate this man. And then you've got that field of cars coming into it. So this is going to be a lungbuster.
Oh, yes, indeed. And Caden Manders' form just lately, wow. Yeah, I mean, you can't comprehend how good this field is, Con. Our own local West Australian field I'm talking about.
Well, I'm not going to put a mocker on him with a commentator's curse, but it wouldn't surprise me if Caden Manders is knocking right on the door, as along with Dane Kingshot and Callum Williamson. Those three men, in my opinion, are the three standout drivers of Western Australia, and there's no doubt in my mind that they'll be able to really take it to the Americans, because, well, we say the lack of events we've been having, but in recent years they've been getting plenty, and this year they've done plenty of racing. They've raced in the eastern states, although they got washed out at one of the shows, but generally overall they've had a lot of racing this year. So when the Americans arrive here in Perth, they will be in red-hot form.
Con, I just had this picture up on the screen. As I said earlier, had the grandchildren over the weekend for the lead up to Christmas. We took them shopping and doing bits and pieces, and in the local store, walking past, the first thing the grandkids saw was the sprint car sitting
now, Graham,
up on a
come
box.
on now, you tell the truth. You were just walking past, cut it out. You said, look, boys and kids, let's come and have a look. I've got to show you something. Oh, there's a Speedway display.
No, they're into it as well.
Yeah.
But look at that,
Yeah,
Jason
beautiful.
Pride's car in the shop window along with some supercars and so on. So it's good to see that Speedway's hitting the big time in the stores, and replicas of these cars are out there. And, of course, you can buy them in the pit area direct from the drivers and competitors as well, can't you? So if you're into those sort of things, go down and knock on the doors of the transporters, and you can pick these up down at the Motorplex direct from the drivers.
Yeah, just a little thing I meant to mention when we were talking about Albany a while ago, how the Speedway brings a lot of people to the town of Albany. There's the new road racing circuit completed now, and that'll be opening soon. So they'll not only have Wanneroo, Burswood, now they'll have Albany to test their skill and daring in another part of Western Australia.
Sure. Con, I wanted to put this up because it is important that we thank these people, and in this occasion we're thanking the skilled Speedway photographers who provide us with some fabulous pictures throughout the year, and so we genuinely say to those people, thank you. They probably don't get the recognition that they deserve. They're very skillful, and we're grateful for using their photography on our shows here.
Well, the sad part about it for those guys and girls is that often people want the photos for nothing, and that makes it difficult. But we help to provide them with some publicity with the hope that the people see them and like them, and they'll end up buying them from them.
Well, I hope people do buy them because they're quality pictures. They use very expensive equipment to snap them, and they just know when to take them, how to take them. The quality of the prints are absolutely first class. So again, go to the competitors and get some merchandise and replica cars, but seek out the photographers as well and buy their pictures, because without the photographers and without your support, they can't survive either.
Correct.
So let's just move on to this now, Con. We want to wish everyone a safe and happy Christmas, and we urge people to drive safely over the Christmas and festive period, and we're certainly looking forward to seeing everyone on Boxing Night down at Perth Motorplex.
Yep, it's going to be an absolutely awesome night of Speedway, as that'll be our final shakedown before the High Limit Series, and as you just said, there's 15 of the best drivers on the planet going to be over here to add with our own local stars who we think are the best drivers on the planet, so it's going to be just simply awesome.
Well, Boxing Night, I have to say, Con, is probably, notwithstanding High Limit, but Boxing Night's probably my favourite Perth Motorplex night of the season.
Totally agree with you. Even when I was running Claremont and now into the Motorplex era, they asked the big nights, and I remember some of the quality nights when we brought the Bob Trossel team to Australia, and the place was just absolutely wall-to-wall people. Normally up around 20,000 people would go to the Boxing Night show. It's a show that's stood the test of time.
And I think, Con, just the atmosphere with people on holidays, we've just had Christmas and then the Boxing Day comes around, just the atmosphere from the crowd, the people in the pits, the drivers, the competitors, the whole thing just seems to come together, doesn't it?
Yeah, another thing too, we've got a venue at Kwinana Beach now, which is a million times better than we've ever had anything at Claremont. The facility for spectators to view the sport is second to none, and I know that you probably hear me bash my gum about this, but it is without doubt one of the finest spectator viewing tracks that you'll find anywhere in the world.
Absolutely. No argument from me on that, Con. Well, we come to an end of another show, Con. We've plenty to talk about, even though it was an Albany event as far as we were concerned, but a good event and good for the sport. So we thank those patrons who made their way down there, and thank the Albany Speedway Club for putting that event on.
Thanks, Graeme, and have a great Christmas, mate.
Thank you, Con, and thank you for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you this time next week. Bye for now.
So will that do for learning?